you didn't know maybe 6 weeks ago?
I think we have a pretty good handle on our personnel right now in terms of strengths and weaknesses of guys individually, and I think us as a unit too. You know, it's been a really good spring. We've had quite a bit of reps out there, practice, 4-hour practices, and so. You know, I think the main thing I've figured out about our defense is that they're willing to work. The guys, they've competed well every day we've been out there, and they've really put the time in.
You said you kind of have a feel for their strengths and weaknesses. Would you say what their strengths are right now? What this defense is?
You know, no, not necessarily more than that. I really, like I just said there, I think our group is really willing to work. They've been great in terms of learning our scheme throughout the spring. They come to meetings prepared, they come to practice prepared, and I think anytime you got a hungry group that way, you know, I think that there's good things ahead.
When you came out here about a month or so ago, you said you wanted to throw as much at them as you could and sort of whittle it down a little bit. Have you started to figure out what's going to work and what's not going?
Yeah, we got a pretty good idea of that, and even the past, starting on Saturday and then today's practice, we've started to move that way and just narrow it down for them and kind of hone in on some of the things we'll be doing more of, and they've really responded to that well too. We probably got to a point there later in spring where it was becoming overload for them, which was good. I mean, we pushed them that limit, and then I think they saw as we scaled back how they performed, and you know, a credit to them. They've grasped everything we've thrown at them.
You said that everyone has a clean slate. Who are the impact players? Would you say a couple of them?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think to name just a few guys, there's a lot of guys that have really made strides throughout the spring. I mean, there's some guys we just pointed out the other day on film that you look at from day one of spring till now. You know, they made huge strides. I mean, Lawrence Marshall's a guy to me that you know, he's a young guy, he's a freshman. In the first 2 practices, you know, it didn't look like he could barely line up, and now, I mean, he's out there, he's playing really well for us. We expect him to help us. You know, I mean, but there's a lot of guys, and there's a whole group of guys that are veterans that have played a lot of football around here. That have made those improvements as well. So I just think they're pushing each other really well. And like I said, they've had the right mindset every day, whether it's meetings or practice, to come to get better.
You guys lost both ends. Who are the defense? How is the head of the defensive ends at this point?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've had several guys playing in every end. I mean, Wormley's playing some end. I just mentioned Lawrence. Royce Jenkins Stone is playing some end. You know, we even moved Mo Hurst out there a little bit to play some end. So we've done a combination of a lot of things. You know, I think one of the bonuses to what we do schematically is the concepts carry over and fit, and so we're moving guys in different spots. So, you know, when those things do arise, you have injuries, you get nicked up, that's part of football. We have some guys we can put in different places.
Were you one of the coaches involved in drafting the 2 teams for the spring game?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And do you have sort of a feel for, is it like your team and Jim's team, or how is that working?
Well, they're going to reveal that, I think, in the next couple of days of how all that went. So that'll be up to Coach Harbaugh to release that. But I think you'll like it. It was a fun way of doing it.